Good morning, good morning. It's 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda, and I am so excited to be here. So before we jump and really kind of rock and roll today, I want to take a moment and I want to share one of my clients, Sage Levine. She sent me this book called You Rock. And Sage is about to do her biggest event right now. I think she's got just over 600 people at it. But what's most empowering is the fact that I remember when Sage was, under $1 million, and I helped her grow her business to over $1 million. And she just had this big desire to help people and help women. And now she's been able to write a Hay House book that she just came out with, which was really on women's leadership. And she's actually even on top of that, still working on her own leadership and coming and doing leadership with me inside of HeartCore here in the next, 19 days or something. My point in sharing all that with you is I just wanted to send some good energy to Sage for her cup. It says You Rock, and it's really her stand for women and women's leadership. And so way to go, Sage, rock out your next event that's coming up here really soon. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna shift gears. I wanna talk to you about letting it go today. So what do I mean by letting it go? So the best example I could give is when you get sideswiped, you have a great idea, you get sideswiped, and either somebody else is doing that idea or you sat on that idea for so long that you no longer feel passion and love for it. It was like one of those things that I wish I would have done that, like a regret moment, right? And then there's also the moments where people just get under your skin. And it's like you can't seem to, even when I say it, I get an energy about me, right? I get an ugly energy about me. And you got to watch all those energies that have you criticize other people or yourself. But typically how it shows up is we really criticize other people, right? And what happens is through being that person, you actually are holding on to energy that keeps you stuck. So let me give you an example. Last September, I call a really great friend of mine and I say to her, oh my gosh, I have this whole amazing idea for my new book. We're going to go after a New York Times bestseller. I'm really excited about it. It's like the first book, the first thing that has come out of me that I was like, I really want this to be a New York Times bestseller because I want the world to have this book. And I said, so the book is all about being driven. And so I'm calling the book Driven. Right? And so I'm fired up about it. I'm on cloud 9. I get my team fired up about it. I'm telling everybody, right? I'm just on it. So this is last September. So then this February, that's over. I'm sitting at dinner in San Diego and my friend looks at me and I'm sitting with my friend Ree Perez and she says, oh my gosh, I just came up with this idea yesterday morning. And she goes, my whole next brand is going to be called Driven, right? And I was like, I told you that was my next book and what I'm up to. You know what I mean? And I can honestly tell you, and this is how powerful really getting a hold of letting it go and realizing that everything really does happen for you, not against you, that I literally was like, okay. And I said, well, remember I told you that in September. And she said, I never hold on to those things and I forget them. And instead of getting an energy of that energy or that you stole my idea or any of that low vibrational, small town thinking, all I did was when she went to the bathroom, I looked at Rhea and I said, it's so funny. I said, well, here's what's great. I said, all that does is it encourages me to go deeper. Right? It encourages me to go deeper. So for me, Driven was a great idea that really fired me up, but there's something deeper, right? And that depth and that deeper has already come out. We're moving it into the book that's coming out next. And I'm even more excited about it. And so I don't want to take any energy away from it because when I launch it, I really want it to be incredible for people. But that being said, and let me clarify something. I'm not saying it right now because I'm afraid somebody's going to steal it. Let me make that distinction because I think a lot of times we can get into this scarcity conversation that riddles our entire life. and really keeps us from expressing, getting excited about things, and really just putting our stuff out there. And here's what I got to say to you. Competition is not really competition. It's super healthy. It makes you better. I even have had thoughts about giving like one of my most purchased products away for free or $200 or free inside of my company, just because I think everybody needs it. And because of the fact that I love the idea of moving my free line, moving my generosity to a whole nother level, so that I have to continue to go deeper and get better, right? And so that's how I would choose to innovate. And so let me just share this with you. So first you've got the whole concept of driven. By the way, then I walk into somebody else's office and I see he's already written the book Driven and it's up on the shelf, right? And then next thing I know, everybody's talking about driven, and everybody now like has this whole concept around driven. So I'm like, all right, Lord, you gave the download. We all got it. So now what's my piece in driven, right? Which I've got now. Now, here's another thing. Recently, we've been trying, have you ever had a block in your life? Like you're trying to get something done, but you cannot seem to get it done. It's like, you're like, please just this thing get done. Like, why is everything blocked right now? So first of all, I want to just share about divine timing, right? So everything has a divine timing. If you agree with me, comment and say yes, right? So everything has a divine timing. And so, I don't know how much of this I can share, so I won't share the full scope because I don't have the full approval to share this story or who it is or anything like that. But a friend of mine that I'm in a prayer circle with, somebody in her family actually went to jail. And she has been praying and praying and praying, and we've been praying around her family member, and that he'll have a shift into God, right? And so that he'll just turn to God. And so there's a reason why he's in there. He's not like this crazy criminal, but there's just some challenges going on in his life, and he's ended up back there, right? And so here's what's crazy. Not only does he find God, but he starts praying on a regular basis. And I get a text message from her at 3 o'clock this morning saying that her family member just turned 6 people in the last week to God. So the reason why I share that with you is because there is a divine timing to everything. My girlfriend comes into my life and she says, why don't we create vision boards? Let's create these vision boards. I actually just had her on, Natalie Jill. She, if you want to look her up, Natalie Jill Fitness, she's a superstar. She says, let's start doing vision boards. Let's have a couple girls over and let's really get into vision boards. I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. And then because of my generosity and thought process, I go, why don't we do a through line? A through line is like, take it where it can impact more people. Why don't we tape it? Why don't we video it? Why don't we Facebook Live it so other people could actually do it with us? What if we had hundreds of thousands of people doing vision boards with us? Wouldn't that be fun, right? So then, of course, I find this picture of this amazing dog. And my son has been the connection point to the other day. He was in the doctor's office, and the doctor says, you have the most healthiest son ever. Now, I could talk about something controversial around vaccinations and not doing them that help your child be healthy, but I'm not going to go down that tangent as an entrepreneur. But what I will say is that my son walks out the doctor's office and he says to the doctor, he says, I'm going to get a puppy now. Well, his dad is allergic to dogs. So how many times do you have a wall in your life and a block and you stop at that wall because the facts say you can't go forward? So the facts say that we cannot get this dog because my husband is very allergic to dogs, right? We just went to Vancouver, Canada recently, and while we were in Vancouver, Canada, my mother has a dog, and my husband had to stay basically in a bedroom with a ventilator, to be able to keep himself feeling okay. So what do? I go, okay, instead of blocking the vision or the dream, my son is walking around everywhere saying he wants a puppy. I'm like, well, what if there was a way to get rid of allergies? What if there was a way to get rid of dog allergies? Then, of course, my friend Chris Britton calls me or messages me and says, not messages me, we actually had lunch, and she said, there is a way to get rid of allergies. I do this thing in Canada, I can't remember what it's called. And then somebody else comes forward to me and says, oh my gosh, I know somebody who got rid of their dog allergies through acupuncture, but you have to find acupuncturist that specializes, not one that's general, that specializes in allergies. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So for like, I'm not kidding you, probably 3 years, I've been telling my husband that there's a way to get over allergies. And he's been like, well, now he's not, he's like, let's get a dog. Let's just take care of me first, right? And get me unallergic to dogs. So my point is that when you set these visions and you create these visions and you don't give up on them, it's amazing how in divine timing things happen. Let me give you another one. I obviously, if you've been following me for a while, and you've known that I've wanted to have a baby. I've been trying for the last year. I have a toddler. He's just turned 3, and I want another baby. And I've had these moments where I've been like, oh my gosh, I did 2 rounds of IVF. That didn't work. I did a round of Clomid. That didn't work. I've done tons of spiritual work. That didn't work. And then I realized, wow, through a doctor by the name of Catherine Zangoni, she's just got my whole body back into alignment. I've never been healthier. All my minerals are in count. Like literally, I mean, I could go on about this forever and how amazing she is, but I feel like I'm, 6 again as far as my vitality and my energy. And she said, and so I'm like, okay, so I'm in better shape now than ever before. I go see this other doctor and he says, Shanda, I just don't think you need anything. This is an actual Japanese IVF doctor. He goes, I think that you can conceive naturally. You have tons of eggs. You're super healthy. I think it's just every 2 to 3 months you release a healthy egg at your age, which means that basically if you miss that healthy egg, then you might go 6 months without even having an opportunity to get pregnant. And then plus you've got the whole concept of God, right? God intervening on perfect timing. So through the vision board of the connection points and saying yes to my girlfriend, Natalie, I'm letting it go. I just keep letting it go, just organically letting it go. Just like my friend, coming up with, or like taking my name, Driven, as if I own it, right? But you don't own your ideas, right? If you don't get them out into the world and somebody else takes it. Just let it go, right? But watch the connection points and keep asking yourself, what's deeper, what's deeper, what's deeper? So here's the baby thing, letting it go. All of a sudden I start thinking about, oh my gosh, I really want to have a baby girl. And so I messaged Wendy, who told me not too long ago that she did Clomid and then she decided she freaked out. She didn't want to have twins. She had a situation where she was told that she probably wouldn't be able to have kids. And she starts reading this book, How to Choose the Sexier Baby. And I'm like, why has my attention been on having a baby? Why am I not looking up, hence a vision board, and really focusing on how to have a little girl? Right? And now I've learned that there's actually, if you have sex furthest away from ovulation, female Y chromosome sperm, they swim a lot slower. And they actually need to have a non-acidic, your body needs to be not acidic atmosphere to be able to get through to the egg. If you have sex close to ovulation, you will have a boy. Well, we've been watching ovulation like crazy and having sex right on top of ovulation, right? And so, who knows? Who knows why everything happens? But what I do know is that you want to de-stress your life and actually get into alignment with what do you want to create. And every time something doesn't work out, ask yourself, what's deeper? What's deeper for me right here? And for God's sakes, manage your mind. Manage your mind. I have said this for years now. The complainer never wins. I mean, if you're in a community right now and you're the complainer gossiping or causing problems or unenrolling people in their visions or even in masterminds, if you're involved in my friend Lisa Sasovich's mastermind you're watching right now and you're bitching and complaining about Lisa and that's why you're watching me, stop it. She's an incredible coach and amazing at what she does. Why don't you show up and create value for yourself? This is about managing your mind and learning how to let go of the small things and the big things that you care so much about and dive down deeper so that you can find the true reason about what is the path that you're taking. And remember that there is divine timing for things. There just is. But I just venture to have you look up. One of the things I want to do is continue to create more fun this year. This year in HeartCore, the word is optimize. Optimize what we already have and have more fun. Optimize what we already have and have more fun, right? So then I'm reading in this book and I read about all these amazing journalists that want to break, and I love this because I hate people, that's not what I mean. I hate when I see somebody who believes that they're so unworthy that they need to copy something that a mentor's taught them and reteach it. That is a worthiness conversation. You are worthy and you can create something even better than what the mentor taught you, right? And I'm not talking about repackaging it or taking a piece of it and then reselling it, right? So I'm reading in this magazine, The Road Trip Not Taken, a trio of young luxury travel experts want to shake up the industry and your soul. Basically, like these young travel agents, experts, their agents, want to actually go around and just shake up the industry, and they're traveling around the world in this like amazing, like old Jeep, and they're like super classy ladies, and they're just up-leveling luxury travel. Now, here's what they've done really well in marketing. They took a travel agent, they hyper-niched it into luxury, right? And then they put the soul spin on it, which is not really something that like travel agents talk about, like soul travel, right? Not like classy luxury ones. They just don't. It's not like that's a hyper niche, right? And so I just invite you to look at what do you love, right? And where are you blocked? Where are you blocked? And then identify what's the cause of the block. And make sure that you're not bitching and complaining about things. Because if you are, you're being right about causing yourself to be stuck. So people can steal your ideas. People can do something better than you. And please, for God's sakes, do not compare yourself against anybody else, because that will be the quickest thing that will have you retract away. You know, ladies, let me speak to you. In corporate America, and even in entrepreneurship, we back away. This is why there's very few of us speaking on the larger stages. Right? Like I just got a call to go speak on a stage that's over 8,000 people. We'll see if it happens. But if it happens, I'll be on a plane going to do that. They have a challenge that they don't have enough female speakers. Men, I'll get to you in a second. But female speakers, the reason why they don't have enough of us is because we back down. We see a man or another woman doing it better than us, and we retract, right? We retract. So please, ladies and men, no more retracting. When somebody's doing something better than you, ask yourself, what's the deeper, like if I love this topic or I love what I'm doing over here, what's the deeper area of where I could make a difference in a super niche area that I could just hold that torch and run with, right? And just really have a lot of fun with and just run with it. So please don't ever watch me and think, and this sounds even crazy for me to say, like I don't have it all together. Right? And I have a multiple 7-figure company and I don't have it all together. Right? And it's quickly moving into 8 figures and I'm sitting there going, ah! You know, like, and like, what do I need to do to allow the company to go into 8 figures and not block it? Right? Because of control or fear of growing too big or whatever that looks like. You know, I'm even considering hiring a CEO for my company. You know, I was just asking Sarah Blakely, who owns Spanx, yesterday, when did you hire a CEO for your company? You know, and just asking my friends, what are you doing or what have you done to be able to decompress the stress, because that's the game, bring the stress down as low as possible, and amplify, right? Amplify your alignment with something that you're fired up about. And let me give a disclosure, and I'll end on this. The disclosure is that you're not always fired up, because sometimes you're blocked. And when you're blocked, you need to just literally go, okay, what am I complaining about? And let it go. Really let it go. And the way that you let it go is you want to put your focus on something new. Right? And there's nothing that works better than anything else in the world that I know of than finding another target to put your focus on that fires you up. So ask better questions. Ask better questions. Ask yourself, so what's next? So like what's deeper than this that I could really dive into, right? And just allow yourself to just it's like an esoteric thing to just slip underneath the problem and elevate into a new inspiration of fire. So every great idea, every great money-making idea that's happened in my company, and every incredibly fulfilling memory that I have, a meaningful memory, always has superseded, come after a really hard moment. So let's not, somebody asked me yesterday, how do you build a business without sacrifice? And you can't. You can't have a baby without sacrificing sleep, without sacrificing a skinny body into a big body. You can't build a business without sacrificing something. But the goal is, can you lock your focus onto what am I receiving that is so much better than where I'm at? That even though this is good, I can go to that, and that's going to be better, and I'm willing to sacrifice to get there. And when I get there, I'm going to be in a new field of flowers. I'm going to be in a new field of possibility and joy and abundance, and all of my family and friends will be with me. Start locking onto those type of visions. So if you like this Coffee with Shanda, please, I really measure topics and what I'm up to with how many times it's actually been shared. So please just take a moment and be generous and share this Facebook Live. Tag somebody, let them know. That lets me know that this actually made a difference for you, and that we'll actually share more content like this and get more detailed and create more worksheets to be able to help you live a better life and be more productive. So please go ahead and share right now. Other than that, I will see you on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda tomorrow morning. All right, talk to you soon. Bye, guys.